All right, folks, I got the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of get rolling here. My name is Jeff Clark. I'm a regional director here with GoldenCare USA. I've been with GoldenCare for just about 27 years now. Back in my start of my career, I used to write exclusively long-term care. Eventually moved into, Medicare supplements, annuities, and things like that. But really, I cut my teeth on long-term care. I've been involved with long-term care, I guess, for almost 27 years. I got moved to a director spot about 7 years after my sales career, so about 20 years ago. So my job now is to basically compare, contrast, look at plans brokers bring us cases they're working on, whether it is a long-term care and life hybrid or maybe a long-term care plan, traditional long-term care, short-term care, home health care. So I kind of eat, breathe, and sleep this kind of stuff. I've been getting GoldenCare for 27 years. So today we're just going to be talking about a couple things. Number one, how the short-term care is kind of changing this industry and allowing us to help more people. And secondly, how the short-term care is really opening our eyes to being a great solution for a lot of folks that were either walking past or folks that maybe thought they couldn't afford long-term care, or maybe because of their health, they couldn't get long-term care. So those are kind of the two big myths we're trying to get out of people's minds, is that when people want extended care, let's call it, they're looking for a long-term care plan. I'm not sure that the short-term care doesn't fit the bill as a solution as well as other things. So let me not get ahead of myself. Again, Jeff Clark, GoldenCare, thanks for attending. This should be about a half hour. Now, last time I did this one, I get a little excited because this webinar is one of my favorites. It really, I think, is an eye-opener to folks. That's why we call it hiding in plain sight. So in other words, I do work on comparing and contrasting, and people bring me their clients, whether it's a 63-year-old married couple that has some health issues, or a 52-year-old married couple that are very healthy, or maybe it's a 75-year-old widowed lady with osteoporosis. We try to find the best solution given the case bring to us. I'm finding a lot of them are catching this particular product you're about to see. Before I start any webinar, I just like to remind people that, long-term care, I've been doing it for 27 years. People have a hard time bringing it up. They're maybe not comfortable with the product itself, but I can tell you that the public out there is keenly aware of what long-term care is. Post-COVID, there's 60, this was on a Harris poll, it was done a couple of years ago. 61 of people surveyed said they'd rather die than go to a nursing home. And I'll tell you why. The same Harris poll told us that if you were, sick during COVID, and maybe you needed to get some care, physical therapy, or whatever, what have you, if you were to get that care at home versus if you had to go to a facility to receive your care, you were 11 times more likely to die from COVID if you received that care in a facility. And believe me, the community knows about it. I've never seen we have websites that lead generators. These lead generating websites are getting hit more than they've ever been hit. People are clamoring for information. 90% adults have never had a real conversation about extended care. What happens after a hospital stay? What happens if you have that stroke? So anyways, if you want to do some marketing in this area, now would be the time to bring it up. I think you'll find a very receptive audience. Okay, a shifting market. I'm going to talk for a little bit here about how this market, in my humble opinion, and maybe some others of my colleagues around here, how really we're seeing a major shift. The fact that there was over 80 companies offering long-term care 10, 12 years ago, we're down to about 3 companies that still offer it in the brokerage. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I hope I can explain some of them. But what we're seeing is short-term care plans kind of filling that void and honestly kind of changing this industry. I think it's a good shift. It's going to take us a while. For me, being a traditional long-term carist, it's going to take me a while to get there. But there is clearly a shift going on here. More people are looking, more carriers are looking at offering short-term care plans. And there's a reason for that. Why I think short-term care can save the industry? Well, first of all, if you look at the problems that the long-term care carriers, and I tell a lot of my customers, the brokers that I'm help training, and if you look at long-term care, when I told you just a second ago that there are 80 some companies offering long-term care 10, 12 short years ago, and now we're down to 3. Okay. Typically, insurance companies don't leave products that are making them a ton of money. All right. This is why they're all trying to get in the Medicare Advantage business, because it makes them so much money. Right. So why have so many left? Because frankly, some of the carriers got murdered. Right. With the catastrophic claims, with the unlimited benefits, the 5% compound we all used to sell back there 25 years ago, the rate increases, and the carriers raise the rates. They still can't raise them possibly enough to fix some of the bad pricing that went on and some of the problems. All right. So why can short-term care stay in the industry? Let's just take a look at it. With long-term care, you have a minimum of 2 years. You have these 3, 4, 5 unlimited benefits out there. With short-term care, it's a maximum 1-year payout. Of course, you can do 1 year for facility and then a year for home, so really 2 years. But okay, it caps that risk on the carrier. Inflation, these inflation riders that went on forever, 5% compound, and someone that was 44 bought the darn policy, or 48, at $400 a day, and now that thing's paying, 15,000 a month for unlimited. But again, with short-term care, you're limited. A lot of them cap the inflation or don't have any. So with long-term care plans, the risk of catastrophic claims affecting the entire blocks. A couple bad claims, a couple bad Alzheimer's claims, where someone again in their 40s bought this thing at 5% compound. They had a $5,000 or $10,000 a month benefit to start. Now it's paying $20,000 a month. They're on their 11th year. I think I just read somewhere I think Genworth's now, or maybe it was Hancock, one of the two. Their biggest claim had eclipsed $1 million. Maybe it was $2 million. Quite a bit of money. Somewhere on the East Coast where it's paying out something like $200,000 a month. Yeah, it was over $2 million. So this claim was like $2.3 million now and counting. So with long-term care, there are these big catastrophic claims. With short-term care, there are no catastrophic claims. There's a lot tougher underwriting with long-term care. With short-term care, since it's 1 year, we can throw the net a lot wider. We can help a lot more people. Long-term care had a long app. It took 6 or 8 weeks to get things done. Then you need to get the right medical records. Maybe the guy had an EKG. We need to get specialist records. How many times are they incomplete? With short-term care, we can get them done right away. They're issued in 7 to 10 days. With long-term care, you saw rate increases. With short-term care, no need for them. We have a 1-year benefit. It's definable risk. It's all very definable. It's something you don't have to worry about. Complex with to sell long-term care, we have to be partnership certified, 90 days, the 8-hour or the 4-hour recertification course. In the short-term care industry, there are no special certifications, much simpler. We can get you contract, get you going in 1 day. So really what you're seeing with short-term care is it's allowing us to go back to the beginning of long-term care. For those of you who've been around for as long as I have, I guess, it was nice when you go out to talk to 70-year-olds and you could actually get them a policy. They could pass underwriting. It was affordable. Granted, we had to change the rates and raise the rates on them a lot. But short-term care is allowing us to go back and help the people that we used to help so many more people. So in a nutshell, what short-term care is allowing us to do, it's made it more affordable so more people can afford it. And it's made it easier to get as far as the underwriting so more people can qualify for it. All right. So that's my soapbox about short-term care. And for me, I'm saying this to myself, I used to think of short-term care as really a solution for my long-term care cases that got declined, or, I have to start kind of reprogramming myself, my brain, to saying that the fact of the matter is a short-term care solution or a short-term care plan can really be as good as a solution as a long-term care or a hybrid, in a lot of situations. And sometimes with health-wise, sometimes it's the only situation or the only option for them because they can't afford it or they can't get it. So, okay, with that, let me go ahead. So my premise here today is that really the short-term care plan really deserves a place at the big boys table, right? It should be with the life and long-term care, the long-term care. We're somehow we put the short-term care in this home health care category, this dental, vision, and health. It's had to sit over here at the little kids table. And again, I'm guilty of this. A lot of us agents just kind of looked at it, the premiums aren't that big, it's really kind of a waste of my time, the long-term care didn't work out. Maybe a big hybrid sale, you got this $5,000 long-term care component, a $7,000 life insurance, it's a $12,000, a $2,000 or $3,000 premium doesn't excite me. Whatever reason we're there, I hope after the next 6 or 10 slides here, I'm showing you that I think the short-term care should be in that conversation. And as I'm doing this, I think that originally we had this thing calling, short-term care versus long-term care, or versus. It's not really it's not a fight. It's not a competition. It's just another arrow for that quiver, in my opinion, that I think we're not using enough. And so when you have that person with a little health problem or someone with a budget constraint, having short-term care in your arsenal, I think will help you help more people. I think it's really just a matter of having all these great, products to be able to help people. So sometimes when you get a client, their financial advisor told them to go out and buy a long-term care plan, and you as a long-term care agent, I'm not trying to talk them out of that, right? So if you have a 52-year-old healthy couple that have plenty of money, and so when I go through the next slides here, I don't want to feel like it's a competition. I just want to show you that, to my opinion, it's kind of eye-opening that maybe the short-term care thing isn't a bad solution. And with short-term care, we do have a lot of products. GoldenCare, we've got, of course, the Manhattan Life, the OmniFlex. So we talked about that one a lot today. But GTL's had their Recovery Cash, and Aetna's had their Recovery Care. Two great products. They've been out for a long time. GoldenCare has wrote thousands of these plans. So Wellaby has one out now, formerly Medico. And of course, we have our True Freedom home care only plans. GoldenCare has a variety of home care and short-term care plans. So for all those folks that maybe can't afford it or can't get it, GoldenCare is your answer. But today, again, here's a product availability grid for any of you, again, that you work in multiple states. GoldenCare has products in every state of the nation, whether it's, again, True Freedom to traditional long-term care. No matter what state you're in, we have a product for you. This is our new OmniFlex. Okay, and I'll be talking about this one a lot. In other words, my talking about the fact that the short-term care industry can save the long-term care industry is largely because of this product, the OmniFlex product. This is the first of its kind. It is really an incredible product. And in the short-term care arena, I'm not afraid to tell you, it's just by far right now head and shoulders above the other products. Okay. Now, that's not to say that more products aren't coming, more product improvements aren't going to be coming. I do think more carriers are going to get into this market. You're going to see them becoming more stronger and stronger. But with the strength of this OmniFlex, I want to show you how things can do, or what we can do with it. It's by Manhattan Life. It's called OmniFlex. Okay, just a couple of quick bullet points on it. Then we're going to go into some comparisons. And but first of all, to kind of get rid of this notion, really, that it's just a small little, small benefit. Flexible, comprehensive, and robust benefits. And I'll show you that here just a little bit. There's built-in restoration benefits. I'm going to talk about that. There's a fast 50 in there. So in other words, you can get half your benefits from OmniFlex purely in cash, so you can pay that family member or friend that's really doing the care. We know that 75% of the time when people are receiving their care at home, 75% of the time it's a family or friend that's doing that. So the OmniFlex does allow you to get half your money in cash so you can pay your family members. The premiums are very affordable. I'll show you that. They're very simple to understand. They're much easier in underwriting. More people can qualify, plain and simply. They're faster in underwriting. We kind of talked about this on this other slide. Quick underwriting process. You can insure people up to age 89. Remember, the traditional long-term care typically cuts people off at 79. They're in the OmniFlex, the short-term, we like to say these aren't your grandfather's short-term care plans. These are very robust little plans that can pack a punch. And let me show you the rates first. And by the way, as I go through this, as you see the strength of OmniFlex, towards the end, I'm going to kind of tell you the secret sauce of why all this is possible. Okay, it's something that I've added to this presentation, because last time I did this, I had numerous brokers call me, email me saying, how can OmniFlex be this strong? I mean, how is it that we can do this? So I got a couple slides added at the end of this that can kind of explain some of this. But just to give you an idea, $200 a day policy for a 60-year-old, 71 bucks a month, right? $6,000 a month benefit, that's 72,000 for home care and for facility care. So 72,000 each, $144,000 pot of money, $71. There's also prescription drug reimbursement in here, but extremely affordable. Okay. So, and what can it do? Now, here's a slide that there's a lot of moving parts. Let me walk you through this one. So, when I say that the short-term care plans are pretty robust and can pack a punch, let me walk you through this. So, there are two sides to this component with short-term care. There's a facility side and there's a home care side. So, on the facility side, I can max this out at 400 bucks a day. Again, this is with no inflation. So I can put 400 bucks a day on here, which, that's 12,000 a month, 12 months in a year, still, right? That's $144,000. Now, there's also a restoration of benefits. I'll come back to that. So I get 2 times my maximum benefit. So I get $288,000 for facility. Okay, now, In the home care arena, I can do a maximum there of $300 a day. So that's $9,000 a month. Again, 12 months, it's $108,000. And again, with restoration there, it's $216. So if you add this together, you know, I'm essentially getting a pot of money of $252,000 if I max this out. I go full 1 year and full 1 year for home care and facility, which that's what I'm doing almost every time I'm selling one. So full 1 year, and then maxed out at $400 a day and $300 a day. So it's $252,000 pot of money. Of course, it can be restored, so you could call that 504. Now, if you want to put inflation with this, everything doubles. I'm not going to bore you with all the clicks here, but essentially, that 504,000 becomes up to $1 million if you bought this with inflation maxed out. Okay. And by the way, what does it cost if I didn't put inflation with it? For a 55-year-old to have, again, $504,000, $500,000 benefit for a 55-year-old, $90. Try buying a $500,000 pot of money in long-term care. Even if you don't use the restoration benefits, let's just say that, that doesn't happen often. I have $250,000 of benefit here. Try buying $250,000 of benefit for a 55-year-old couple or even a single. Those premiums are closer to $200-300 a month. Okay. So it's certainly a way of buying. You get a lot more buying power in the short-term care arena. But if you want to put inflation on this for that same 55-year-old, the premium's only $163. So now again, for a 55-year-old, 25 years from now, the benefit will have grown to $1 million. It's only $163. It's pretty amazing. So let's talk about real quick this restoration of benefits. Okay. Again, I pick on myself here, being in long-term care, short-term care. Again, granted, short-term care hasn't been around the whole long time, but the big thing that's commonly overlooked, and I don't know, the first couple of years short-term care was out, I think I overlooked this myself, but there isn't a 90-day certification requirement for short-term care. So I'm just going to pause here. I'm going to say that again. There is no 90-day certification for short-term care claims. In long-term care, as I'm sure most of us are aware, if I want my long-term care plan to pay out a benefit, I've got to have a stroke. I've got to maybe have a car accident where that care, in my own doctor's estimation, I've got to be 2 out of 6 activities of daily living deficient. So I've got to have a 2 out of 6 ADL deficiency that in my doctor's opinion is going to last 90 days or longer. This is why, I have a mother that's got a long-term care policy, and she's had 2 hips done. She's had 2 knees done. All 4 times, she's like, Jeff, why doesn't this pay out on my long-term care? Well, Mom, because you're going to be better before 90 days is up. So they don't work. All right. Now, long-term care plans used to have restoration of benefits in them, but we all kind of, as agents, kind of laughed about it because almost never would you see someone require the care that's going to be longer than 90 days. So by the time they finally do go on a long-term care claim, they typically don't come off of them. We're talking about a stroke where the person has therapy for the rest of their life before they die. A dementia claim, they're not coming off a claim. We didn't see restoration benefits get used very much. And so when we talk about restoration in a short-term care, it's a little bigger point because of this 90-day certification. Things like knee replacements, broken bones, cardiac arrest, valve replacement, bypass surgery, hip replacement, motor vehicle accident. Do you see all these things that can happen? I mean, look at my mom. She's had 3 of these things. She's also had a heart valve replacement. So, I mean, yes, these little 2 and 3 month claims, and when they're at $9,000 a month, hey, that's a great way to recoup a lot of your $2,000 annual premium, isn't it? So you go on claim for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months later, your benefits restore again. So, it's not a bad little point to bring up. So just the restoration benefits is actually bigger than you might think in short-term care. Okay. I'm going to go into basically average policy sold now, then I'm going to go into some comparisons here. So I've got about 20 minutes past the hour. I got about 15 minutes left of actually showing you some numbers. I don't want to get hurried through them, so I'll call it 15, 20. But I talk to a lot of my brokers about this. When we sell long-term care plans, we sell hybrid plans. We sell a lot of long benefits, 5-year benefits, a $250,000 pot of money, $400,000 pot of money. I see a lot of the hybrid models, the life and long-term care, where there's a 6-year long-term care benefit, right? Well, in reality, we know that 70% of people aren't going to require more than 3 years of care. And that's a combo between home care, then eventually going to the facility. Unpaid caregiver at home, about 59% of people, it's a year. 42% of people, it's less than a year. Facilities, 1 year is about 35% of people, less than a year, 13%. Any type of care within the year is 37%. So about 80, 90% of people aren't going beyond a year there. So if you look at, and I've read different stats here, 90% of claims don't really exceed 2 years. If you start talking about beyond 3 years and 4 years of care, 95% of claims don't go beyond 3 years. When we start talking about these 6, 7 year, that's a 99%. It's so rare that someone's going to be in care that long. Now, every facility has old Aunt Ethel that's been there for 16 years, right? Every facility has one. But I'm telling you, a bulk of what happens in care out there is usually a 1 year or less deal. And so sometimes with long-term care, we're kind of selling a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito, right? And that's fine. If those people have plenty of money, sell them a sledgehammer. If they can afford a $7,000 annual premium for a long-term care plan for the husband and wife, well, go ahead and do that. That's what okay. But and this is where I just want to get a little analytical. So we looked at, GoldenCare, we sell about 10 million a year of Mutual Omaha long-term care premium. So, just looking at what we sold, our agency, the 30 million of just Mutual Omaha long-term care premium, 65%, 2/3 of the policies we sold have maximum benefits between 2 and 3.5 years. Only 15% of the people that we sell have benefits of longer than a 5-year pot of money. The average premium there, $2,804. So we're selling a lot of small policies for $2,804. We're not selling many that are over 5 years. Okay, most of and we didn't have it broke down by years, but as people get older, obviously it gets more expensive. So I don't know, 80, 90% of the policies we're selling 65-year-old plus have a maximum benefit of 2 years. In other words, the minimum we can give them so they can afford it. Okay, and why is this? Because if you look at today's long-term care insurance premiums, they're expensive. The carriers have had to protect themselves. They've jacked those premiums to a really high level. It doesn't get you all that much benefit. And so the long-term care companies have taken such a conservative approach. You can't get them issued. It's hard to explain to afford, and the benefit payout, in my humble opinion here, it's not all that great. Okay. Now, if you've ever done any webinar with me in the past, I've always been tooting my horn about the fact that you should buy a short, fat policy, not a long, skinny policy. And what I mean by that is if you look at the example on the left, it's important to follow this concept right here because I think it plays right into why this short-term care solution has been the solution that's been hiding in plain sight all along. So okay, this example here, and some of you have probably seen this, but this is a pot of money of $270,000. I'm going to do it 3 different ways. So in this one, I'm going to do a 5-year benefit period at $4,500 a month. So if I take 5 years times $4,500 a month, it's going to equal $270,000. Okay. And here I put 5% compound, such a small amount that 4,500, right? I'm gonna have to keep pace. All right. The premium for that layout, worst possible design in long-term care. And by the way, this is how a lot of the hybrids, in my opinion, are structured. These long, skinny benefits. I've never been a fan because, again, they just showed you 2 out of 3 people aren't going to go beyond a year. So, you really want to compact that benefit into a shorter, fatter, so those people get some of their benefit out of it. Okay. So a long, skinny design, $11,488. Now, if I take the same $270,000 pot of money and I put, now I'm going to do a $7,500 benefit for 3 years, I still get $270,000 pot of money. I'm going to use 3% compound. Okay. Look what I've done to that. So I've taken away nothing from this person, still selling them $270,000 of insurance, but now my premium's down to $8,601. Now, if I take that a little bit further, I'm going to squeeze this into a 2.1-year plan. I'm going to ratchet it all the way up to $10,000 a month. I'm going to put 1% inflation on there. Look what I've done to the premium now, $58.25 compared to $11,488. I've cut this premium in half, and look at the benefits. So now this thing pays $4,500, the long skinny design, $7,500 versus $10,000. 10 year, in 20 years, it's 12,000, 13,000 versus 12,000, same benefits. Okay. So with this concept, if you're designing long-term care plans and you listen to nothing else today, stop selling long skinny, sell short fat. It'll do your clients a lot. It'll help your clients a lot more come claim time. But now take a look at what Omniflex can do on this. All right. So what short-term care is doing is, remember, I did a 5-year plan, then a 3, then I squeezed it down to 2. Let's squeeze this thing all the way into a 1-year plan. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a 1-year plan at $12,000 a month. Remember, if I max everything out, I get $144,000 pot of money from my facility. I get $109,000 on my home care. So that's $252,000. Now up here, remember, it was $272,000. Pretty close, right? $252,000 pot of money. Now it's spread over 1 year. So the benefit, by the way, now starts at $12,000 a month. Come claim time, $24,000 a month. Remember, this one was only $12,000 a month benefit. All right. So the premium in this, $39.57. I've shaved another $2,000 off there. So if I had to buy a short, fat, long-term care plan or a short-term care plan, well, first of all, I like the idea that it's $2,000 less, and I like the fact that I get a $24,000 a month benefit versus only $12,000. Remembering that most claims don't go beyond a year anyways. Okay. And if you talk about benefits for extended care, if we're talking about just getting our premiums back out of it, people don't like to buy insurance, so they worry, what if I pay all this in and I don't get it back? Or, well, let's give them an avenue that allows them to recoup those premium dollars faster than any other way possible. Okay, that makes sense to me. Let me show you another way. So let's compare these. Now I'm going to pick up pace a little bit here because I want to show you the hybrid one. All right. This is a very simple what I just kind of showed you. So remember, with Omniflex, I can do $400 a day or $12,000 a month, $9,000 a month for the home care. So that ends up with a total benefit of $252,000. Okay, with restoration. Again, I covered this probably pretty heavily a little bit ago. So you can count the restoration or don't. If you're one of the people who don't believe in it, that's okay. I understand. But it does kind of. So versus here, traditional long-term care, $4,000 a month over a 3-year period versus $12,000 a month over a 1-year period, right? 90-day with a 0-day home health care waiver here, no inflation. The premium here, and by the way, the Omniflex has that $300 drug reimbursement. If they're taking any prescription drugs, they're going to get $300 off annually off their premium. $1,100 versus $1,900. So clearly the Omniflex is a better deal. Let's throw inflation in there, of course. I'd like to sell things that are okay. But so it comes down to this: come claim time, would you rather get all of this $144,000, your entire benefit, paid to you over the course of 1 year? Or would you rather have it bled to you over the course of 3 years? Now, using the word bled to you sounds like I'm slanting a little bit. Maybe I am. I just think that getting $144,000, the quicker you get your money back, the better. Okay, especially if this is less money. And by the way, this is all in cash, indemnity, versus reimbursement, and having to fight with that. I mean, there's no guarantee you're getting all that money over 3 year either. It has to be the full reimbursed amount, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So let me give you a couple claim examples. I'm going to go into hybrids, and again, we're getting close here to, let's do 30. Yeah, I think about probably 10 more minutes or so. All right. The real advantage comes at claim time. So again, this is an example of someone had a stroke. They ended up in a nursing home for 15 months. Okay, if they had Omniflex, they've been paid out $144,000. Remember, indemnity doesn't matter if the nursing home didn't charge $12,000 a month. The nursing home only charged $7,000 a month. It doesn't matter. We're giving the full $12,000 a month. Okay, it's indemnity. So over a course of 1 year, $44,000. Now in a facility, we're assuming that $4,000 a month didn't come close to paying the bill. So this traditional long-term care policy paid them $48,000 a year. They probably had to come up with the other $40,000 themselves out of pocket, but whatever. Okay, so the same claim, traditional long-term care pays out $48,000. Omniflex would have paid out $44,000, 3 times as much. Another example, here's one that had a hip fracture. Okay, badly broke her hip. 6 months home health care. This is again, we're just going to utilize the cash, the Fast 50, because dad's taking care of mom in this situation. Now, if you look at traditional long-term care, they'll give you 25% of your benefit. So that's 25% of 6,000, which is what, 1,500 a month? Now with Omniflex, if you have it maxed out at the full 9,000 a month, all right, if I take half that, 4,500 a month, I'm going to get 4,500 a month for 6 months. So if I'm on Omniflex and I had that 6-month home care claim, Omniflex would have paid my spouse $27,000. Traditional long-term care would have paid me $6,000. 25% of the example I showed you there was 25% of the 4,000 is a $1,000 benefit. So 4,000 a month, 25% of that is 1,000. So over a 6-month period, you're getting 1,000 a month. Traditional long-term care would have paid me 6,000. So again, 27,000 or 6,000 for home care. Last claim example I'll show you. This is someone who had a hip fracture with an RN visiting. Now the wife, the spouse isn't going to take care of it. I'm actually going to have an RN coming out. So, and this is $100, $150 per visit. Okay, that's what she charged. So with Omniflex, remember, every time they visit, I get my full $300. It's indemnity. So we're just saying they came out 3 times a week for a 6-month period. Omniflex would have paid out $21,600. A traditional long-term care, because remember, if it was less than $150, they would only reimburse you for, if it's a basic nurse or something, it would have paid $10,000 or less. Again, remember the premiums here. Omniflex is a lot lower in premium, a lot easier to access, and it restores. Okay. Here's another example of traditional long-term care. Now, this is a simple example of a 12,000. Again, I'm going to max out Omniflex, just being fair. Okay, I max this out to 252,000. Here, this is a 3.5-year benefit, 6,000 a month. Okay, so I have a $252,000 pot of money. I've matched the pot of money. Look at the premium, 2,600 versus 71. And then remember, you have the headaches that come with traditional long-term care. It's reimbursement. It's not first day. You don't get access to the full cash amount. Okay. An example, can claim time in this. If I put inflation with the same plan, by the way, that's what the premiums do. 4,900 versus 9,500. This is for a 60-year-old male married couple. And so again, if you're talking to a 60-year-old married couple, let me just kind of pause. This is why I think short-term care sometimes works out better. If I'm talking to a 60-year-old married couple and I present to them a $6,000 a month benefit, $250,000 pot of money, it's not that huge of a long-term care plan, but my premium is $95.67. Those people might never look at long-term care again. They were kind of hoping to spend like $3 or $4 grand on this. Once you show them that dang near $10,000 premium, they'll never look at long-term care again. I'm not saying all of them. You know your clients. But for a lot of them, that's too stout. So if I can give them the same $252,000 with an all-cash, model that's actually restorable for $4,900, I need to be at least telling them about this. This has to be something that we're at least presenting. Because if it's my mom, I got to tell you, if it's my relative or people I care about, for value here, I'm looking real hard at this short-term care solution. Because remember, 2 out of 3 policies we sold, 2 out of 3 are less than 200,000. Less than 250,000, probably, I don't know, 75% of what we're selling is less than this anyways. So why are we forcing them into long-term care? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, I have a hybrid example. I'm not going to go through. Okay, I'll go through the individual one. Because obviously if I do a married couple, and I put inflation, it just extrapolates the premium. So let's take a look at this. And again, I don't want to be verses up here. Let me just pause, because again, 234, getting close here. A couple things. Sometimes people write a hybrid up and they get declined because of the health issues. They couldn't get a long-term care portion of it, right? If you've been declined a long-term care plan, they're not going to let you send an application into some of these companies. So maybe they've had some type of, they had cancer a year or 2 years ago. They've had a stroke or something, or maybe they've had a TIA. Maybe they are diabetic and they're on a couple high blood pressure meds. Okay. All these things will then knock you out of a hybrid. And maybe that person really liked the idea of getting a hybrid. Hey, if I don't use it, I get this nice death benefit. If I do use it, I can use my death benefit, so I'm not just throwing my money away. Some people like the idea of a hybrid. Can't get it out of their brain. All right, that's fine. Sometimes they have health issues, or they were declined, or they could. So let me just offer this. If I'm looking at Nationwide Care Matters 2, which is kind of the hot product out there, it's an all-cash product, so it's fair to kind of compare it to the Omniflex. Okay. This particular example, this person was going to buy a $250,000 death benefit. and have a $7,000 a month monthly benefit with Nationwide there. And they're going to inflate this at 3% compound. So that, by the way, how the Nationwide is done, that's a $150,000 death benefit. Now, $250,000 is available for long-term care. There's a death benefit here of $150K in case you die in your sleep and don't use it. The premium for this, for a 60-year-old female, $9,527. Guess what? She's diabetic. She's a little overweight. She'll never fly at Nationwide. And you know what? I could come by and say, here's the deal. Why don't we do this? I'm going to get you your long-term care benefit of $250,000. Remember, we can do that with an Omniflex. We can get them $252,000 pot of money. That's reusable, actually. You could call it more, but let's just leave that alone. A $252,000 total long-term care benefit. Remember, that's going to be at $9,000 and $12,000 a month, not just $7,000 a month, right? We're going to put 5% simple on there, not 3% compound, pretty equal. All right. The premium for that's going to be $29.36, and this is again for a 60-year-old. Now, you know how the hybrids work. If you die in your sleep, well, you get 150 grand. Okay. So in this situation here, I ran a death benefit of $250,000 for this gal, and the premium on that was $27.17. So why not sell her a standalone life insurance? This is a universal life I used. I want to say I used, I don't know, a couple carriers. Don't hold me to Columbus Life. I think I did some with Prudential, some with, just pick the life company. Okay. So why not sell her the same long-term care benefit and then a death benefit? The premiums, you add them together, are going to be less than our Nationwide product, right? So I'm giving the same thing for $5,600 instead of $95. And then quickly here, let me show you the end of this. What do these things look like come claim time? This is a 60-year-old person. So average claims happen at 85. So let's look 20 years down the road. Okay. Come claim time. 25 years later. I think what I did here. There it is. Yep. I moved this death benefit to $250. This first rate was $150,000 death benefit. I didn't change this part of the slide here. I apologize. So that's $150,000 death benefit. The next one here, I went ahead and ramped it up to $250,000 death benefit. That's why it's 72. So again, if I'm trying to, maybe I lost that hybrid sale, maybe I'm competing, maybe the person's health's no good, but I still want to give them a hybrid style of a quote. Okay. Look at come claim time. If I do a standalone, this is Columbus Life IUL with the Omniflex. Remember, combine those two together with $7,000. 25 years from now, the monthly benefit that's paid out, $14,000 a month for long-term care benefit with the Nationwide. With Omniflex, it's going to pay out $24,000, almost twice the benefits, right? And if you look at the pot of money, Nationwide is going to have $527. Omniflex is going to have $504. That's with restoration, but I'm not even going to. I won't even mention that. Okay, and then over here the death benefit, you get $250,000. Remember that with Nationwide, if you were to use a bunch of this long-term care benefit, you're in the nursing home for 6 years or 4 years, maybe a care at home, and then eventually the facility, and you used up, I don't know, $400,000 of this, you don't get your $250 anymore. This is an either-or deal. So for down here, for less premium, bigger benefits, same guaranteed long-term care benefit, I also get a guaranteed death benefit, regardless if I use my death benefit or not, my long-term care benefit. There's a lot going on here. I have another example of a married couple I'm not going to show you because it's just more of the same numbers. The point I'm trying to make here is that when I compare this to long-term care, I can get there on 3 out of 4 cases that I sell. Disservice. I don't want to say I'm doing a disservice to my clients, because some of them just want to have long-term care, and maybe they've got the money to afford a premium. If they only bought $4,000 a month benefit, maybe they've got enough income to cover the difference, and eventually you get all your money anyways. Or I don't know. I don't have all the answers here. I'm having a hard time personally with justifying a lot of these long-term care sales. And sometimes on the hybrid, some people get it in their mind they want to buy a hybrid. Some agents have it in their mind they want to sell a hybrid. I get that. So all I want to do is tell you is that if you have someone with some health concerns, there's a nice way to package this together. And what I'm really trying to do is I'm just trying to illustrate again that I think short-term care can really start finding its way, or should be finding its way, into one of the products that we're presenting regularly. Not just for a long-term care decline, or not just because we can't find it. I'm just saying that in a lot of situations, 3 out of 4 times, the person is every bit as good off with a short-term care plan. In a lot of situations, better. So if your clients can't afford it or can't get underwritten, you really should be looking at long-term care. But really, just a straight up comparison, if you're selling pots of money of less than $200,000, you need to look at the long-term care. Okay, so people often wonder, as I do this, how can Omniflex be beating the competition this much? If you don't know about the secret sauce, I had this added because a lot of times when I'm talking about this, I don't bring this up. And this is by any means not a negative. What Omniflex has done is it's kind of a graded benefit short-term care. So in other words, the day you buy this, let's just say you went with a $200 a day, $72,000 a year, then pot of money. In year 1, you get 120,000 or 120 a day. Second year, 140. Third year, 160, 180. So the 5th policy anniversary, you're back up to full there. All right. So what does this allow them to do? Because this is a graded benefit, it ramps up. You step into coverage. What that does, it takes away, and by the way, this is the same way on the home health care. So the home health care, if you went with, 150 a day, or if you went with $300 a day, 9,000 a month benefit, that's 108,000 for the year. That first year, it's only going to pay you 54,000 or 150 a day. Now, again, what that allows us to do is that's allowing the adverse selection. That's why we can underwrite a lot more people. That's why the price-wise we're so much better. But before I go to the next slide, I just want to kind of illustrate something here, because I had another very good long-term care colleague of mine, agent, that wasn't quite following when I was bringing this up. If you know anything about Aetna's short-term care, their home care benefit is a maximum of $1,200 a week. It's a weekly benefit of 12. That's the max you can do. So $1,200 a weekly, that's $4,800 a month for home care. So if I were to go with $9,000 a month or $300 a day, even at the start, this is paying $150 a day. That's $4,500 a month. So that's equal to, in my opinion, our biggest competition, the Aetna's Recovery Care. It's a really good product. So the ramp up that we call this, the secret sauce, it builds. So really on the 5th policy anniversary, it's at its full strength and it stays there forever. Now, people often ask, well, that's adverse selection. That's why, if you look at what they can do, this is why if you look at the prices, well, first of all, if you look at the price against the other short-term care plans, we're going to come in 30, 40% lower than the rest of them. Okay, and benefits, I could bore you with that. I think I can bring this into focus, but I could show you the Omniflex here compared to the other ones. Just a lot more benefits. It's again, it's not a fair fight right now. But price-wise, we're killing the other short-term cares. And then underwriting. Look at the kind of people, because of that ramp up, we can have people that are using oxygen. They're using a four-prong cane. They're using a wheelchair. For part 2, which gets them a $3,000 a month benefit for 1 year, they can have multiple sclerosis, diabetic, Parkinson's, stroke, cancer history. It's only a 1-year payout. It works. And because of this secret sauce, if you will, it allows Omniflex to do things that no one's doing in this industry. So I wanted to bring that up. That's all I really have for you today. I just want you to kind of keep in mind that I do think the short-term care can be a great solution in many situations. But and I love the slide that Lynn puts together for me. I just feel like it deserves that place in our conversations as agents. It's taken me a while to get here too. But I told you at the beginning that my job is to compare and contrast and look at plans and look at different benefits and how they pay out over time and, cash versus reimbursement. I tell you, after seeing all that, I got to make an argument for short-term care, especially namely this Omniflex plan. It's an amazing product. So if you don't have this product, call us at the office here. That's all I got for you. I want to thank you for coming on board. Our number here is 800-842-7799. Our website, goldencareagent.com. I strongly suggest you hop on to goldencareagent.com. All kinds of great resources in there for you, tools, etc. If you want to listen to this training or any other trainings we have on products or selling techniques, or just how to create the need for long-term care, how to sell it, present it, etc. All of our great products, home care, True Freedoms, or traditional long-term care. Go to goldencareagent.com, look under resources, and it's under webinars, I believe, free recorded training. But just a nice, and then plus all of our other marketing goodies on there. Our agent corner with all the best tools. So I want to thank you guys for coming on board. Give us a call here. If you don't have this OmniFlex product yet, please give us a call. We'll send you a link. We'll get you set up with this plan. Your next meeting, give us a call. We'll help you put together a quote, a proposal, and maybe we'll give you a traditional long-term care, and we'll give you an OmniFlex to go with it, so you can kind of offer your clients a couple different products. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you to answer those questions. So we'll prepare you. We'll get you. We'll make you look real good. But give us a chance. 800-842-7799. GoldenCare. I'm gonna look real quick if there are any questions. We'll get you out of here. Yep. Yeek. Okay. The benefits are not taxable when received. People can apply for benefits with OmniFlex. There are no certifications required to sell short-term care, so there's no partnership. And the rates do stay the same. Once you buy a plan, they continue with you. What triggers a claim? Same triggers as short-term care. 180-day wait on the restoration of benefits. Good question at the end. If you use a portion of your days, you don't use up your whole year. Do you restore only the days used? You restore that whatever days are left when you go to restore again. So if you used up 3 months, after 6 months, you'd have 9 months left in that pot of money. Of course, what they do is they go back to another fresh 12 months, because remember, you get 2 times your daily amount. So let's give you an example. If I had a hip replaced or I had a hip fracture, I went on claim for 3 months. I got better. A couple of years later, I went on claim again. Well, you're gonna have access to another 1 year or 12-month benefit. Let's say I use that whole benefit up, I come home and recover again. I have a third claim. At that point, I have access to 9 more months, because I only used 3 months of that first one. So it's gonna be a total of 24 months total, however many times you use it to get to that level. Rates do stay the same. Some questions on the life. There's lots of ways you can do that life insurance example. Whether you use an IUL, a second to die life, it's for a married couple. It doesn't matter how you break it up. You're always better off breaking up a long-term care or short-term care and a life than putting together in a hybrid. However, people like hybrids. They don't want to fill out 2 applications. Believe me, I fought that. Not fought's the wrong word. I presented them both ways. Sometimes people just want the hybrid, but if they can't get it, then maybe you can still give them a hybrid concept by doing that. You can use an IUL, SUL. You can use, second to die lives. Any of those work. Okay, I think that's all. I have someone else here that's just, I'm not sure. If someone wants to use in-home or facility, would they want a traditional? No, I think that both are covered there, and it's all cash. So whether I was going to be at home or if I was going to be in a facility, I would like the idea of receiving the full amount in cash for every time I receive care. It can't be any cleaner than that. It can't be any easier than that. An unused amount stay in my account. So instead of being reimbursed, I don't know, 180 for a nurse coming out and visiting me, I'd like to get the full 300. So if someone wants in-home only, traditional would be better. Again, if you're only getting $4,000 a month versus $12,000 a month, and maybe that nurse again is coming out, I don't know, 3-4 times a week, it might take you a long time you'd have to be on claim for 12 years to get all your benefit out of there. So if I got it all paid over 1 year, I could put it in my bank account and use it whenever I wanted, or if I died, it would go to my kids versus stay at the insurance company. So I'm not sure. There is no plan of care required. All you have to do is hit your 2 out of 6 ADLs, and your ADLs, remember, the same as long-term care. 2 out of 6 activities of daily living or a cognitive impairment of any kind. So yeah, so it's the same triggers as long-term care, but just no 90-day certification period. So that's important to kind of remember. All right, a lot of questions there at the end. I want to thank you. I know it got to be 2:50 here, and I apologize. I try to keep these between a half hour and 45 minutes. Great questions, big class today. I really want to thank you guys for spending some time. Hey, like I mentioned, I'm sincere about it. If you're not offering this, please do. Give us a call here at 800-842-7799. Ask for the marketing department. We'll get you hooked up with this plan right away. Other than that, any other things you have, home care, traditional, hybrid, whatever you've got, GoldenCare is here and happy to help. So give us a call. I want to thank you for spending some time today with us, and good luck selling out there.
GoldenCare is always here to serve you with new tools, new products, new ideas, and new innovations, and always the best support in the business to help you succeed. So give us a call at 800-842-7799 and check out our website at www.goldencareagent.com.